Now YouTubers, welcome to part 3 of this little mini series on this particular car. This is we're going to show you how to put everything back together. That's obviously the CV joint and the drive, we've just put a new joint on. This then goes inside the gearbox, which is here on the car. And as you can see, it's got a funny shape. You can see these round ends here, that's where the 3 bearings go. And if you look on, now as you can see, it's a funny shape and there's 3 ends, 3 rounded ends where the 3 bearings go. And we'll show you on the drive here. So there's the 3 rounded ends where these 3 bearings go. You want to make sure this is all clean and pack new grease in. And that you can actually see the shape, that's how it goes in. And then you can put a metal wrap or a cable tie around it to hold it in. So that's the thing we're going to put in first. You're not going to be able to see this on camera, but at least you know what it looks like. And it can only go in one way, so you know when you've got it right, because it will just literally, just like that, that's just slop straight in. Then you just move the plastic or the rubber CV joint around, or the boot should I say, so you know you've got it on. Now again, unfortunately you're not going to see that on camera, but at least you've seen what it looks like. You just go under there with the camera, here, this way, and I'll spin it. See it there? Now you can see it there, look, and I'm spinning it. So that's what it goes into. So that's how to put the drive in. And this is where we're going to put the cable tie. We're going to put a black cable tie here, a strong one. So that's basically the drive in. Now we've come to put the hub back on. So we've got the CV boot and the drive on and everything, the CV joint. So the next thing we need to do is put this back on. Now you've got 1 or 2 options. Some cars, it just depends. You can either put the bottom ball joint on first, or you can connect the shock on first. It doesn't really matter. Once you connect, one's easy to connect, the other's always a nightmare to connect, so it doesn't really matter. I prefer to put the suspension on first. I personally think this is the easiest way. Now, like I always say, a bit of lube never hurts. To lube everything up, just makes it easier and slides in a lot easier. Still going to be a bit of a nightmare, like I said, but once you get this started, it's not too bad. As you can see, all we've done is we've just put the CV joint back on. I've just hand tightened that bolt. The bottom ball joint is in, and it's just sitting in the top of this now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to jack this up, which is then going to put pressure on, and hopefully it's going to settle itself into there. So it's going to lift up the suspension and compress these 2 together, and hopefully we'll get away with it in there. So that's what we're going to do. Put a bit more lube on it, and it should be in. It's in, and I swear to you, there was no swearing, there was no tools being thrown, and everything was roses. Basically, we pumped this up, and all I did with the hammer is I just hit very slightly here, and then it just literally popped through itself and sorted like that. That's all we did. So we pumped it up with this, compressed the spring, I hit it slightly with the hammer, and it went straight back down after a lot of swearing and other things. But anyway, it's in. So now what we're going to do is we're going to tighten this bolt here. Obviously you can see it's not tight. We're going to put the ball joint bolt in, we're going to put the suspension bolt in, and then put the brakes back on. Now, we've tightened the 2 bolts, so the ball joint bolt and the suspension bolt here. I've tightened this with an air gun, but what you've got to remember is there's a little round, the nut comes with this like extra shield on. And what you have to do is you just have to bend a part that lines up with the CV joint. It just stops the nut from coming off. It's very simple. Just get well, anything really, and just bend, just hit it. As you can see, I've just bent that in. It just stops that bolt coming loose. Now the next thing, that's going to go really well, or it's going to be a nightmare, is to put the track rod end back on. Because this physically spins, you can't put it on by hand. Well, you can, there's a little Allen key at the bottom, but that takes forever and it's annoying. So what we're going to do here is we're going to put it on with the air gun just to nip it. Now you have to be careful. You put this on too much with the air gun, you'll snap it. But hopefully it won't spin, and then I'll nip it by hand. That's the plan. So 17 mil. Now here goes. Hopefully it'll be okay. Now I got away with it. I felt that grab, so now I'm going to do it by hand. If I left that air gun on it too much longer, it would snap the bolt. So I'm just going to do it by hand now. Give it a final squeeze, as you can see. A good squeeze. Now, that's it. So that's the hub back in, and that's everything back on. We just put the brakes on now, and the wheel back in. We're sorted. Now we just put the brakes on. Obviously the disc is very simple. That just goes on. Now if you remember from part 1 of this video, all I did is I never took the caliper off the carrier. I just took the carrier off, which is these 2 bolts here. And the reason I did that is because it makes it so much easier to put it back on. So you just put the 2 bolts in. If you take off this, you have to put more bolts. Not a big deal, but you just have to do more. So it's just 2 bolts. Just get around there with the camera. It's just these 2 bolts here. Put them in. Can be a bit fiddly, but that's one. That's the top one in, and then now just got to tighten them. Put the wheel on. Sorted. Okay. Now again, don't use the air gun on these. Just use the ratchet. There's no need. Use the air gun. You're gonna do damage somewhere. Boom. Now that's it. And just remember, because you've opened up that caliper, you're going to have no pedal in your car. So before you take off, just pump your brake pedal a few times just to close that gap. And that's it. Put this wheel on. And that's basically how you remove and replace a wheel bearing, and how you take a seized CV boot or CV joint out the stub axle. You put everything new back on, and that's it. And when you're tightening these bolts, also remember to tighten opposites. You go that way, the opposite side, just so you know the wheel is then on dead square. And again, I'm going to use the air gun, but I have the air gun set to a specific torque, so when it's down, I then get a big bar and I just squeeze it for the last. The opposites. That's it, look. Hope you enjoyed the video. Obviously, no harm just to check there's no rattle there now, as you can see. Well, so look, hope you enjoyed the video. Thumbs up, subscribe, and don't forget, get your hands dirty.